Hey Gators and sports fans, get all your Gator talk, news, analysis, and opinions on the Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning podcast. Find us on your favorite podcast platform or watch us on Facebook Live between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. every week. Our Gator fans. So say it's great to be a Florida Gator.
Good morning. Brockway gives his thoughts on the upcoming season. If you missed it, some news from Gator camp. Quarterback position, they lose Jack Miller for probably 6 weeks through a thumb injury. He had surgery. People talk about no depth on this team. The experience at the quarterback position is not good. Anthony Richardson has, one career start, hasn't played a whole lot. Now your backup is either going to be Jalen Kitna or Max Brown, a true freshman. So we'll see. But Anthony doesn't have a lot of experience. They said Jack Miller had been practicing well, so we wish him a speedy recovery. I've had a thumb injury on my throwing hand, and it is not fun. I was in a cast for 8 weeks, but it was the last game of the season. I was so pissed off that it happened. It ruined my entire all season of golf. All right, JC, you're welcome. You're on the Titan MR hotline.
Yeah. Wow, man. It's so great to be back with you there, QB. Terrible news, man. I think Jack Miller we were going to get to see him play a little bit maybe in some of these early games, and who knows how much we would have gotten to see him play. But Richardson is your guy. It's always going to be that way, and he's just got, as you have said, take care of himself when he's running with the football. And now probably more than ever, QB. I mean, they are a little thin right now at that position. So that's a big deal. But, you know, what I was reading about when I was gone on my worldly travels, as you say, was how nicely the Florida program has been attracting some of these verbal commitments. A couple guys that have.
We're not bullshitting around here anymore, yeah. JC. We got a new building. We got a new staff.
It's good.
We got folks that know what they're doing. They're giving them good housing. They're giving them good food. Hey. Them boys up there in in northwest Alabama better look out.
Right. Yeah. Listen, everybody's shaking in their boots outside of Gainesville these days. No, I think it's just great to see. Verbal commitments are great in August. Of course, you have to get them to sign in December, and things happen during the season. But this is very positive vibe. These are good vibes. This is good information for the University of Florida. The coinciding of these verbal commitments coming with the opening of the Heavener Center and everything that's developing around campus has got to make you feel good. Has got to make you feel like, you know, finally, after I don't know how many years, 14, 15 years, these guys have decided to get serious. And it's been, well, actually, that decision came a long time ago, actually, but it's coming to fruition now. And so this is important. This is important to attract the school to kids that are SEC caliber players. And then, of course, you know, the news yesterday, QB, with the TV deal that the Big Ten just locked up.
Well, if you think about it, they're getting what, $350 million? Is that what it is?
The Big Ten deal?
Yeah.
It's $7 billion.
Oh, why did I think it was $350 million?
Well, that is a number that I read about, but the deal that the Big Ten signed is just about around $7 billion. And the reason
they signed that. Think of what the SEC is going to sign.
Oh, listen, I think that the matter of timing has allowed the Big Ten to steal the early news flow because their contracts were shorter under Jim Delaney than the ones that the SEC were involved in. And now the renewal of these contracts involving three partners, Fox, CBS, and NBC, has become the big story in college football right now because we're talking about literally almost $90 million to each school. And now you get this. Listen to this. You get hear this? Look, wait.
We can't hear your sound, but it's dun 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 dun. Yeah, they're taking the.
It's the CBS. It's the CBS opening theme music as Purdue and Iowa run out on the field. Now I know these.
Wait till Maryland and Rutgers play.
Well, and then you get that UCLA Michigan State game out there in LA. Listen, they've done a good job in that conference, and certainly right now, revenue-wise, they're number one. But the SEC will get their renewals coming soon, and then we will probably have comparable numbers that the Big Ten is going to command. It's become a two-league sport right now, basically. And those folks in the ACC and the Big 12 are just going to have to fight from behind.
Yes, for sure. I saw whenever that was all over Twitter yesterday, I read some of the comments. People, for some reason, SEC fans, or maybe it's just Gator fans, don't like Gary Danielson. I don't get it. I think he's out. I think he's very good at what he does.
I don't understand the sensitivity to your own team when you hear an announcer say something that you don't like to hear is overwhelming.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's
overwhelming. It's unbelievable.
Let me just say it's ridiculous. Joseph says CBS stinks. I can't wait to get away from that 3:30 prime. Well, we're going to play whether we go to ABC or ESPN, which the SEC is going to do. The prime game is going to be at 3:30. That's going to be the game because they're going to put up their game against the Big Ten game.
Right. Big Ten is going to go noon, 3:30, and then evening. It's Fox, CBS, and then I guess an NBC game.
Yeah. We're 16 days. We're 16 days away from the Gators kicking off. Most college football starts next week, week 0. Gators kick off. I've been asking everybody their favorite number 16 to ever wear a Gator jersey. I can't think of one.
I can't. I don't know.
Andy says number 16, Freddie Swain, but he wears 16 for the Seahawks. He didn't wear 16 here. I think Freddie Swain was number 10 here. Can you think of a number 16 for the Gators?
No. That's the number that doesn't really ring a bell, QB. I'm sorry. No. But tomorrow we'll have one that we all are aware of. And so,
Yeah, Riedel Anthony, baby.
Well, what, number 15, Riedel Anthony?
Yes, Riedel Anthony.
He was, that guy was a baller, man. I love that dude. That dude was something else.
We got a couple of texts. Hang on a second. We got some texts on the Titan Mark text line I need to get to. This is from Daryl. He says, Shane, that was funny. Damn football. Let's play golf. Well, Daryl, let me tell you the story. Okay. Let's see. What year was that? It was my last year. I don't know what year it was. I was in Chicago. We're playing at Detroit. Okay. Last game of the year, JC.
Yeah.
This is when Cade McNown was on the team. So I forgot when we drafted him. But I couldn't figure it out because we started out. I was the starter. And then obviously we stunk and I didn't play great. So they put the rookie in, let him play. He'd get a couple series, but then they let him play and we were god awful. So the last 2 games they said, okay, we're going to go back to you. And I'm thinking, why? Okay. So they start me against the Detroit Lions, the last game, week 16 or 17. I can't remember what year it was. So my family, we're one of those people because we lived in Gainesville in our off season. We just rented a townhome, fully furnished or apartment or whatever. So when you literally hear people talk on sports talk radio or on TV about if your team's out of the playoffs, the U-Haul is in the parking lot, packed and ready to roll. I was that guy. Yeah. Okay. But my family had already moved everything back. I even worked it out with the Bears management or whoever's in charge of travel. I ain't going back on the team plane. I'm flying from Detroit to Gainesville because I had my suitcase, my travel-on suitcase with the equipment guys, but all my clothes and stuff were already gone. They're already back in Gainesville. I'll be down 2-minute drive against the Lions for half. We're moving it. They came with a Mike Sam blitz. I let it go because one guy came unblocked. My thumb came down on a helmet, and it hurt so bad that I couldn't even look at it. And I looked at it, I'm like, oh, my gosh. So I just jog off. They take me straight in. They set it in this big, cast type thing. It wasn't a permanent cast. And then I fly home, go see Dr. Pete. They give me to a hand specialist. And then I had to put all these screws in my thumb joint. And since it was my throwing hand, they set it where my grip, they just stretched my thumb as far as they could to make sure I'd be able to grip a football again. But normally you're in a cast for about 4 or 5 weeks. Since it was my throwing hand, they made me sit in there or keep that cast on for 8 weeks.
Oh, 2 months.
So I got no golf. I was so damn mad. I can't tell you how mad I was on that plane ride home, JC. I was so mad. That's that story, Daryl. I hope you enjoyed it. I know some people don't care, but I was so happy. I was like, we're going to play against Detroit, win or lose, who cares? I'm flying from Detroit straight into Gainesville, nice weather. And then on Monday, I could be at the golf course.
Yeah.
Monday, I was going to see Dr. Pete and having surgery.
And then what'd you do for 2 months since you couldn't play golf?
I don't even remember, but it was awful.
Well, look, this is just part of the game, QB. We talk about this all the time, how everybody's already got their plans for who's going to be in the Final Four and so forth, and how the season's going to play out. And everybody knows what's that we have 7 teams or maybe 5 teams with real opportunities to win a championship. But we all know that injuries will always play a part in this season for most all teams. So Jack Miller's going to be okay. He'll be back one day, but it's all about Anthony Richardson staying healthy right now for Florida. And looking at the schedule, you've got 2 really hard teams to open the season with, but you also have, you have 6 out of the first 7 games, QB, are at home. 6 out of 7.
Do you know who the starting quarterback? I don't know what made me think of this. Well, I know why it made me think of this, and I'll tell you in a second. The starting quarterback for the South Florida Bulls this year, you know who it is?
No, I can look it up in a minute, though.
No, I know. I'm asking. I know who it is.
Oh, no, I don't know.
It's one of your favorite adopted Big 12 schools who played for the Big 12 championship last year. I think they won it, right?
The Big 12 championship was won by Baylor Bears. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, their quarterback, Gary Buchanan.
Yeah, he got hurt, and then that's right.
Well, they basically told him that he wasn't going to be the starter in the spring. He transferred to USF. He's their starter.
Okay. Well, they're vastly improved from last year. I mean, you have to be after winning just 2 games. But that coach, I actually looked at, and believe it or not, I looked at some of the USF things, and for some reason I didn't notice the quarterback change, but I was looking at how they will be better than the 2 wins they had last year, and that's the 3rd team coming in here, so it'll be a better team, but it's not going to be a team that threatens you, I don't think.
Yeah, a couple texts on the Titan More text line. John says CBS can have Gary Danielson, but at least let us have our song back. It seems so weird to see Big Ten teams playing with the CBS song. We can't hear it, JC.
How come? All right. Well, there goes
this. Who is this? This is an anonymous texter says, it's not stupid. Gary Danielson exposes himself early in a broadcast that he's not a Gator fan. He also calls penalties before the refs indicate what the penalty is, and he's always wrong. I don't know why people think. What are they talking about? He's not a Gator fan. He's not a fan of anybody. There's one team he's a fan of, Purdue. That's where he played.
And he's right. And listen. I've never
had one problem as a Gator former player or fan. Had a problem with Gary Danielson. And
the biggest whiners and complainers about Gary Danielson is in Tuscaloosa, and I don't know why. I'm a graduate of the school. I can't find one thing wrong with the guy. Is he analyzes these games? He's done more Alabama Georgia games than any other announcer, and I never had a problem with how he called it ever. And it doesn't make much sense to me. I don't care if he says that your team is undisciplined when they get their 6th personal foul penalty by the second.
That's calling it how it is.
Yeah, I mean that's what you are, right? I mean, I don't think he's really walking into the office and says, "Hey, I'm going to pick on Florida today," because
Daniel wanted me to tell you that the microphone is not part of the camera, JC. It's on a different spot on your laptop. So quit holding it up to the camera and put it where the microphone is.
Well, I'd love to know what this iPad thing. Okay, thank you for that, Daniel. I'll do my best to figure that out.
All right,
it's a very iconic song. I mean, it gets you all fired up, and it's now a Big Ten. It's going to be a Big Ten.
Lauren Meadows says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel, Brad Nessler and Danielson are great. I agree. I think they're outstanding.
And I liked Vern. I liked it when old man.
I like Vern too. People didn't like Vern. I don't get it. Speaking of announcers, okay.
Yeah.
You're one. I'm flipping through the channels last night. There's a Monday night game on Thursday night. It was the Bears at the Seahawks.
Okay.
I thought Steve Levy because every time I hear him call a football game, it drives me crazy because he should be calling a hockey game.
Right.
I thought I thought Jack Buck and Troy Aikman were ESPN Monday Night Now.
I did too. ESPN.
So I don't know why Steve Levy and Dan Orlovsky and what's his name were doing the game last night. So.
Well, QB, when Monday Night Football starts, I turn on the Mannings. That's what I watch.
Well, I do too. Yeah, well, especially when that old crew they had. All right, JC, I saw this on Twitter. I wanted to bring it up.
All right.
So General Booty, who's a backup quarterback at Oklahoma, JUCO transfer, all his uncles and brothers, all his uncles played at LSU. Josh Booty, David Booty played at USC. Anyway, he came out with his apparel line yesterday.
Oh.
He's donating half the money to some children's hospital. But these shirts are great. Listen, you can't see the logos, but I'm going to kind of read you what they say. This one says, I heart booty. This one has a picture of him throwing a football. Then he's got one that just a bunch of them that just say General Booty, but I thought it was kind of fun. You got to see it to enjoy it, I guess.
Here.
All right, so
I'm so pissed that I can't figure out where the speaker is on my
Cliff says Joe Buck is not very good. I think Joe Buck's pretty. I think the best announcer in all of sports is Mike Tirico. I don't think anybody compares to him.
Well, his voice, you can listen to that forever. But you know who I like, QB, that maybe some folks are irritated by, but who really gets me going is Gus Johnson.
Yeah.
And I hear Gus Johnson talking about, he's just got the energy that I need when I watch football and or basketball even. But I like the way he calls the game. And you know who else I like, QB? And I didn't mean this to get into a announcer contest here, but I think as a color guy, I think Andre Ware does a really good job, and they bury him on the 12 o'clock games at some random game out in Mississippi, when the Rebels are playing, Austin P. And I don't know why. I think Andre Ware is very good.
Yeah, he is good. He's very good. We got on this announcing thing, and I got some stuff I got to get to here at Facebook Live as we move on.
Let's hear.
I just had a text. Oh, this is from yesterday, or maybe the day before.
All right.
I was raising hell about Patrick Reed trying to sue the Golf Channel.
Okay.
I said he's a little whiner. Nobody likes – literally nobody likes this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. Except the guys on Live, the people that are stroking his check because he got kicked out of school for cheating. He's been accused of cheating on the PGA Tour. But Marissa says, QB, after you're dogging Patrick Reed yesterday, my heart hurt. If I was your head coach, I would make you apologize today. I have no problem. Nobody likes the guy. And for him to try to sue Golf Channel because they've said bad things about him.
I don't really know what your damages are going to be how your damages are going to be proven if somebody criticizes you on TV. How you plan on collecting?
Welcome to being a multi-millionaire and professional athlete, buddy.
Yeah, he sounds a little soft to me, QB.
He's so soft. He looks soft, and he plays soft, and he acts soft. Okay?
Well, I'm not sure. What's he complaining about?
I would just love for somebody just to beat his ass on tour. Wouldn't that be great? When they saw him, when he got accused of cheating, I can't remember that whole scenario a few years ago. Where it was overseas at some event. But his ball was in the trap, the sand trap bunker, and he put his club down behind the ball, which is
grounded the club.
He grounded it to see the texture of it.
Right.
Somebody should have just full-blown sprint and just taken him out in the bunker.
Did he ever play? He played on Ryder Cup teams too, right?
Yeah, he played. That's why they call him Captain America because he made it. I think he played real well or something. But nobody likes the guy now. All right, we're all over the place today, but John says, QB, who do you think is the best announcers right now? I like SEC Network team with Jordan Rogers and Cole Kubelik on the sidelines. I can't recall who does the play-by-play. That'd be Tom Hart. Gus Johnson is very good. For college football, I do like that. I like that crew at night. They used to do the night game. Trying to think in college football. I do like Gus Johnson because he brings so much energy to the telecast.
That's mine. That's my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, you could throw a 5-yard flat route, and Gus Johnson thinks you just won the Heisman Trophy.
I mean, if it goes to that, but see, he contains it to a point where he's not ridiculous, in my opinion. And when a big play happens, the momentum and everything's changing during the course of a game. He really gets into the moment, and for me, that listening to him is exciting. I like watching him. He can make the Purdue-Illinois game that CBS is all proud of and excited about, or NBC is now, or Fox. He can make that fun, and I that's doing a good job because let's face it, QB man, some of those games that in the Big Ten at noon that ESPN used to have would literally keep me sleeping. I mean, it could keep you sleeping. It wouldn't put you to sleep. It would allow you to continue to sleep. So the Beth Mowins at the afternoon game in Madison, Wisconsin is not one that moves the needle for me. No. But it provided good a distraction during your tailgate at the O'Connell Center parking lot because it's a game that's on TV.
Yeah. Are you in the market to buy or sell your home? Doreen Weeby, a realtor with Caldwell Banker M. Parish, will provide you with fast, friendly, reliable service. Call her today, 352-562-1411 to help your dreams come true. Speaking with JC on the Titan More Hotline, we'll have Kevin Brockway from the Gainesville Sun.
Oh, Kevin. Wow.
Get his thoughts on Jack Miller being out for about 6 weeks. Michael just asked, how long do you think he'll be out? I think they said 4 to 6 weeks. So it just I assume he had something similar to what I did. I don't know all the details. All right, JC, before we let you go and get to Kevin, I mean, we got some more time here. I picked the BMW Championship. Part of the FedEx Cup is going on this week. Next week is the Tour Championship. I picked JT, Justin Thomas, Max Homa, and Victor Hovland this week. I don't know how they're doing. But I saw this on Twitter, and, of course, I had to take a screenshot. This is coming from Club 54. So at the conclusion of their season, which is, I don't even know how many tournaments they are supposed to be playing. What is it, like 10, 12 tournaments all year long?
I guess. Yeah.
If you played in at least 4 of those events throughout the year and you were one of the top 3 performers, individual performers, they're going to give out money for the top 3 guys. What would be your guess of how much money they're going to pay third, second, and first? So I guess it's kind of like their Tour Championship, but you only have to play in 4 events.
$25 million.
First place, $18 million.
That's close.
Second is 8, and third is 4.
Okay.
But again,
so 18,
I mean, think about that.
30. So I was only off $5 million, QB.
Yeah, but it's just ridiculous. Absolutely.
I mean, they're just throwing it around, dude. And listen, so many guys have told me, listen, you can't blame these players. But what you have to appreciate, whether you like Tiger Woods or not, is that he's doing his best to keep the PGA guys intact. And he's having these meetings behind closed doors with all the players that the McIlroys and so forth, the guys that are still on the regular tour, the one that we all love and watch. And I think it's going to survive. Listen, this thing is going to eventually, I think, kind of fade from the attention span of most people.
What's interesting to me that, he flew in to wherever they're playing this week with Ricky Fowler. I could have sworn I thought Ricky Fowler had already gone, but I guess not. And, it's going to be interesting. And I've talked to people of mine that are really in the golf world. They hate it, but they say they understand it. And I argue, and this was a club pro I was talking to, or used to be a club pro, and he's like, the PGA Tour, this, that. I'm like, look, dude, the PGA Tour has the best benefits of any professional sport for the athlete. If you don't perform, you don't get paid. It's no different than a National Football League, okay? Our benefits are okay, but not like the PGA Tour. Yeah. And if you don't perform, what happens to you in the National Football League?
They cut
your ass.
Yeah,
you get cut. And then you ain't making nothing. You can't. So if you don't make a cut on a PGA Tour, you don't get paid. But you know what? You're still getting paid because of this logo, that logo, this club, this hat. So I've never heard so much damn bitching from people that are making so much money
I haven't.
It's the greatest
absurd.
sport in the world. I just don't get it.
It's absolutely absurd. And all the money that's being made isn't from the purse during the tournament. It's from the logo, like you said, and it's on the bag and so forth. And that money is comparable to what the Live is paying these other guys. It is, because you look at what Jordan Spieth gets for an AT&T logo on his bag, and it's $50 million, $60 million. So you can't tell me these guys aren't getting something. And the markets that you reach on the PGA Tour are certainly better than the Live. Here, let me try this. Let's see if this works finally. I think I figured it out. Here we go. Shoot.
Oh, you had it.
Yeah.
It's not there now. You had it initially.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, you must have moved it or something. Michael says, no, it ain't working. Michael says, Shane, are you and Coach back on the Inside the Huddle this year? Yeah, we start up next Tuesday. Me, Coach, and Steve Russell. Daryl on Titan our text line says, Shane, speaking of broadcasting, hopefully you'll have a good parking spot where you can get out of traffic after the game. Ain't happening, Daryl. And plus, we have to do all the stuff after the game. So, yeah.
QB, we got to get your record back. I mean, what are you, 0-4 right now?
0-5. But here's the thing, JC. I've done interviews ever since they announced it publicly.
Okay.
Look, I ain't throwing a damn ball. I ain't catching a ball. I ain't blocking. I ain't tackling. I ain't jumping off sides. I tell everybody we got to play better football to win games. That's simple. I have nothing to do with it.
No, but you got to, listen, eventually when Florida gets that first big win under your belt there in your new career, it's going to feel better. It's going to be more fun for you. That's for sure.
Okay. Before we let you go, Joseph keeps asking me about this, and I did not look at it, Joseph. I apologize. I was so busy yesterday. He says, speaking of bitching about money, did you look up what Carlos Alvarez had to say about players today in the NIL? I think Carlos Alvarez came out from what somebody told me yesterday on this program. His comments were around that, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, listeners, that he thinks that some of the NIL money that these players are making now should go to former players that are having health issues. I believe that's what it was all about. I have not read up on it. So, what are your thoughts on that, JC?
Sure, share it if you want to, but you can't. Look, life is about timing, folks, and sometimes it works out for you, and sometimes it doesn't. When I was a journalism student at the University of Florida, I didn't have all of the opportunities that kids do these days with ESPN Plus, podcasting, and all this other stuff. All right, we didn't even have cell phones, so life is about timing. When QB was playing football, he didn't get to sign NIL deals at University of Florida. He had to walk on, basically, not walk on, but basically just try out and hope that a coach liked how he played. And all of a sudden, a new guy came from Duke, and he liked how he played. It's about timing. If Spurrier doesn't come, we don't see Shane on the field probably. So, and that's not Shane's fault, but this is about the way things are. So, Carlos wants money. I don't blame him for asking. I don't think you're going to see it though.
Yeah. So,
don't you think, QB? I mean, if Gary Darnell was the head coach and Whitey Jordan was calling plays, and you're on the roster, are you seeing the field? You think?
No.
Right. So, Spurrier shows up and all of a sudden likes the way you operate and likes the way you translate his formulas and his system. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're playing football. So, and it's not that you're a product of the system. It's that you were there and he showed up at the right time for a mutually.
Yeah. I mean, would I love to be able to make money off going to Sonny's and eating free and getting car deals and all that? Yeah. But it's timing. Like you said, it's all about timing.
It's all about timing. Yeah. And by the way, Kevin Brockway used to write for the Gainesville Sun.
He still does, JC.
Well, no, but he used to before he went to the Big Ten in Indiana, and he covered the Hoosiers. And he's up there in Indiana in no man's land, and I'm really happy. I loved his column. He's one of my favorite writers at the Sun. I'm very glad he's back, and please pass along my congratulations to him because he was always one of my favorites at the Sun.
All right. We'll let him know that, and we'll get his thoughts on what's going on with Gator football. All right, JC, we'll see you on Monday. We're glad you're back safe and sound.
Thank you, man.
That's JC. Join us on the Titan Tomorrow Hotline. Take a time out. Come back. We'll be joined by Gainesville Sun's Kevin Brockway. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co., Ruse Ogra State Farm Insurance, Doreen Wiebe Realtor Caldwell Banker MM Parish. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avra and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Celebration Points where the Gators go to celebrate. With premium brands like Escape Apology, Sushi Hana, Regal Cinemas, Kilwins, Le Macaron, Prime and Pro, and the HBC's restaurant Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, where every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 2:30, you can get the hottest brunch in town. We'll see you at Celebration Point where the Gators go to celebrate. We're going to head to the Titan Tomorrow Hotline now. And we're going to be joined by Kevin Brockway from the Gainesville Sun. Good morning, Kevin. How are you, my man?
Good morning. Yeah, I had a chance to go to Spurrier's last week. Really nice. So it was, and it's great to be back in Gainesville.
Yeah, we just had JC. Remember old John Cornell?
Yes.
On TV 20 with his mustache. He says, tell you congratulations for coming back and covering the Gators. Before we jump into the Gators, Kevin, what was it like? I mean, you covered the Gators for a long time. And then you went up to Big Ten country. Tell our listeners, a little the difference, I guess, in, the atmosphere, how games are like. What did you notice the most?
Well, I think it's more of a basketball conference than a football conference in terms of atmospheres and crowds. Although, certain schools, obviously Penn State, Michigan, Ohio State, I didn't get a chance to go to the Horseshoe when there were fans there. That would have been nice. I did get up to the Big House. That was kind of a crazy atmosphere up in Michigan. And Kinnick Stadium in Iowa was pretty interesting. That was another stadium that was probably about 60,000. But it's interesting. They don't like the SEC up there. I'll tell you that. That was pretty interesting. Every time I mentioned Florida or that I was from Florida in the beginning, I got a little, I had to kind of show my bones a little bit. But there's definitely some rivalry there between the two conferences. And I think that it's pretty interesting. It's pretty telling, Shane, when you look at the rights deal that just transpired, that ESPN was kind of shut out, because I think that there was a lot of thinking among Big Ten fans also that, the college football playoff, it's conspired against the Big Ten and the SEC gets all this favoritism. It's because of ESPN. And now they're trying to build up Fox Sports, which is interesting, and FS1 up there. So a little bit of a different atmosphere up there, but it's good to be in the Southeast where, what do they say? It just means more down here. So it's
damn right.
Definitely kind of crazy.
A lot more. So, all that money that the Big Ten's getting from CBS, what do you think the SEC is going to end up getting?
You would think that they would, probably try to renegotiate, right, Shane? But it's going to be interesting with Oklahoma and Texas in the fold. The Big Ten was pretty shrewd in getting the LA market, and they're pretty much now an East Coast to West Coast conference, a national conference. which I don't know how that's going to work out when, Rutgers has to play UCLA in a baseball game on a Tuesday night, right? They might go to a pod system there. But for football, I guess it works. I always thought it was kind of funny when they talked about, we have the New York TV market, now with the Big Ten Network. And I'm like, people care more about the Yankees and the Mets than they do about Rutgers football. It's kind of fourth or fifth on the priority list. But they're getting televisions and homes, I think, which they think is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, we got a couple of texts here on the Titan Mar text line for you. Daryl asks, could you ask Kevin, has he gotten to do any fishing in the Keys this summer?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm planning to go down there next year, though. But, Shane, that was my first job out of college, was the Key West Citizen. I lived there for 5 years. And I started out doing the daily fishing report. And love to get down there. Really enjoyed it. When I was down there in the 1990s, Key West High School baseball was amazing. They were one of the best programs in the country. And I covered Khalil Green, who went on to play for the Cardinals and the Padres, Golden Spikes winner out of Clemson.
John has a Facebook Live, not Facebook, a Titan or a text here question. What was the best basketball venue in the Big Ten that you went to while covering the Hoosiers?
I would have to say that Assembly Hall and Mackey were probably the two best. Iowa wasn't bad, I would say. They were okay. Maryland is a really nice arena, and but it wasn't as electric there, I think, because of the fact that the program's on a little bit of a downturn. And Ohio State was nice. The Schottenstein Center, that was okay. Breslin Center was all right. Really, they were all good venues in terms of fan support. I mean, Michigan State was pretty good. Chrysler Center in Michigan was okay. It was a little stale. But Assembly Hall, when Bob Knight came back, was pretty rocking. And every time they played Purdue, it was pretty. And Mackey Arena in Purdue is another really good atmosphere. They've done a really good job there.
Hey, Chris Doring Mortgage. They do mortgage lending right, helping home buyers throughout Gainesville and North Central Florida. Call Chris Doring Mortgage today at 352-244-0840. Speaking with Kevin Brockway, if you got a question or a comment for him, shoot it to us. He's back with the Gainesville Sun. Cheers, you're out there. You boys only get. They lose Jack Miller. I think, what is it, 4 to 6 weeks, which to me, have they come out? It's a thumb injury, which I've had one of those before. He must have hit a helmet or something.
Yeah,
is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. That's what all the reports are. Yeah.
I think it really hurts. I mean, he may not a little bit. He's only started, I think, one game, but nobody behind him has played in a lot of games. What are you hearing? Will it be 4 to 6 weeks?
Yeah, I think that's pretty standard. He underwent surgery, so I think that's pretty standard for that kind of an injury, Shane. And I think also, this opens up an opportunity for Jalen Kitna. And I know that, I don't know, in your NFL career, if you came across John Kitna's son.
We were teammates together in Cincinnati.
Yeah. So I think this opens up an opportunity for him. And he's been very high on him. The guy I've been impressed with in camp is Max Brown. I kind of like his velocity, his timing. He's a guy that's, he can throw on the run a little bit. He's a guy that's impressed me a little bit in camp in terms of just his arm strength. So he's another guy I think you kind of have to watch. He's a true freshman. And then you got Kyle Engel. But I think that, when we spoke to Napier a couple of weeks ago, he was very high on Kitna's growth and development, from the spring to now in terms of, the progress he's made. So I think here's his opportunity, right? He's got to go in and take advantage of it. He's been kind of in and out of camp too, though. He's been banged up a little bit. I know he returned to practice on Wednesday. So here you go with John. Here you go with Jalen Kitna. Here's your chance to kind of secure that backup quarterback role.
Yeah. So it's I've never been one. It's usually a spring topic. People worry about who's the second or third quarterback. Look, your quarterback hopefully won't be injured. I tell everybody, I can't think of Coach Spurrier's 12 years here of him ever missing one of his starting quarterbacks missing a game. And our quarterbacks, we took a beating in his system. We'll see. Who in your mind, and I mean, like I said, you don't get to watch a whole lot of practice. But who in your mind has stood out the most or caught your eye in the practices that you've seen?
Ricky Pearsall looked really good until he got hurt. He was a guy that I thought was, a pretty dynamic guy. And, I think Torrance's physicality, when you watch him on offensive line drills, is impressive. I think he really knocks guys back. He's a guy that, certainly came in with a lot of preseason accolades and so forth. I think Trev Whittemore has been consistent, but I wonder about the receiver position as a whole in terms of, and especially, with Pearsall kind of, nursing this injury, how many playmakers are going to be. Naquan Wright's been solid, I think, but and Anthony's, made some throws in practice. I think he's been halfway decent. But I think those are really the main guys. It's hard to see the defensive guys sometime on the other end of the field, but Kimber is a guy that, certainly on, in the secondary and the cornerback, and Devin Moore, the freshman, has been pretty good. So I think those are two guys in the secondary you got to watch too.
Yeah, we just got a text on the Titan Mar text line. What game do we think Miller will be available? I think it's a 4 to 6 week deal. I think he'll probably come out of the cast or whatever, probably after 4 weeks, and then do rehab and how quickly he can grip and throw. So I would expect 6 weeks from now. So that would be what, week 4, week 5? I don't even know who we play then. Would that be Tennessee or the week after Tennessee, I guess? So we'll see.
Eastern
those
Washington.
thumb injuries, like I told you, I was telling people, Kevin, I shattered my thumb the last game. I can't remember what year it was of the season when I was with the Bears against the Lions. And since it was my throwing hand, they made me stay in that cast for 8 weeks because they wanted to make sure the bones set correctly, my grip would stay the same. So I don't know how they'll do it. I mean, that was almost 15, 20 years ago. Would it be 20 years ago? Might have been. Yeah, I don't know when it was, but technology has changed, is what I'm saying. So they can do crazy things these days.
What's
switching gears.
Yeah, I was going to make one more point. What's interesting too about the backup quarterback situation is it's not like you're easing into a game where you're facing a team where you could throw the backup quarterback in there for a quarter. You're facing Utah and Kentucky, 2 ranked teams right now. So you're going to need to ride your starter, I would think, for all those games, provided he's healthy.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, it ain't like our starters played a whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no experience at all at the quarterback position, quite honestly. Back to the receivers. I don't know if you've noticed or the coaches have talked about it, but one of my favorite receivers out there is a guy named Dejon Reynolds. I liked him in the spring. I like the times that I've seen him. I think he's a shifty little guy, runs good routes. I don't know where he is in the rotation. Do you think he's going to play at all?
Yeah, no. I mean, when I watch him during reps, I mean, they're getting the ball to him pretty quickly. I mean, he's in there with Whittemore, with certainly Xavier Henderson in terms of getting catches and getting reps. So I think he's a guy that is definitely worth watching, and he's a guy that's progressing, Shane. I think he's going to be in the mix up there.
No doubt about it. All right, we got a text, switching gears a little bit. We'll come back to football. But Daryl asked on the Titan Mar text line. Oh, this is John. I'm sorry. Kevin, what's your thoughts on Todd Golden and what should be realistic expectations this year since you're a basketball guy?
I know, right? I'm getting a lot of these basketball, which is good. And I met Todd yesterday, and I was very impressed. He seems to think that they're going to contend for, he's very high on what they have with Colin Castleton coming back, certainly with, the addition of Kyle Lofton, the point guard, who could potentially be an impact transfer there. So we'll see. But, the SEC is a lot different from when I left, a lot more competitive. Bruce Pearl, I watched his Auburn team in Israel. They look really good again. They got 2 transfers that are pretty good. Kentucky's always going to be Kentucky. But I think if you're Florida, you should try to shoot for that top quadrant, that top 4 in the league. If you can shoot for that in Golden's first year, it'll be a really successful season. But it's going to be tough. I mean, Barnes has it going on in Tennessee. Buzz Williams is starting to do things at Texas A&M, and he's a proven good coach. And There's a lot. LSU will be interesting. They're going to be kind of rebuilding under a new coach as well. But who had a lot of success at Murray State, McMahon. So I'll be curious to see. But I think Todd's a bright mind. He's got a really good analytic mind for basketball. He's bringing an analytics coach. So that's kind of interesting. And we'll see. Yeah, Myron Jones is another guy to me that's a key. He was a guy when I watched him at Penn State in the Big Ten, was a really nice shooter, really good player, and just kind of fell off the map last year. And I think if they can kind of resurrect him and get him to the point where he could be a volume 3-point shooter with Kwasi Reeves and Colin Castleton, they'll really have something. They'll have a good kind of base of three guys that could score on a consistent basis.
Yeah. We got another text here on the Titan Mark text line from Bobby. He says, Kevin, what are your thoughts on what's going on in Kentucky with the comments from Calipari and Mark Stoops?
That's been comical, right? It's been interesting with regards to that a house divided, right? But, first of all, credit to Mark Stoops for building Kentucky up football to where, it's considered the second best team right now in the SEC East. And I saw your buddy Chris Doring predicted them to go 11-1, which is really something. But that tells you how far they've come, and they'll be in the swamp in a couple of weeks. But, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a basketball school as much as it's just a basketball state, like Indiana, where I was also, where, it's just what people care about, what moves the needle in Kentucky. It's always been a basketball state. It's always been what people care about because of the tradition and because of the history and because of the fact that, all the national titles and so forth. But you got to give credit to Mark Stoops for building it up. And I think you just, if you're Calipari, you just can't say something like that because it creates a certain amount of division in that program. And I remember Billy Donovan used to get asked that question all the time 10, 15 years ago, even when Florida was going through its run. They're like, is Florida just still a football school? And Billy used to say basically that, he said, the one thing that people care more about Florida football is the university itself. And that's how he answered the question. I thought that was a very diplomatic way to answer it, as opposed to Calipari saying, we're a basketball school and that's it. So, but definitely created a furor around the Bluegrass State.
Yeah. Tony asked on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law. He must be a Larry Bird fan. He says he needs an Indiana State Sycamore update.
Oh, yeah, the Sycamores. The Sycamores are, kind of rebuilding. They had a new coach last year. The guy I liked, who I watched, who played for the Sycamores a couple of years ago, and I watched him as an Indiana All-Star in college, was Jake LaRavia. And he transferred to Wake Forest, and he got picked in the first round of the NBA draft. He was a guy that was really a hidden gem. And it's a shame that Indiana State didn't have him longer because he was a really, really nice, tough player. 6'7", multi-skilled though, could shoot outside. He was really good.
All right, Dave was calling me right here. You're not Dave. I need to turn Dave off there. All right, Kevin. So I'm going to ask you, because I ask everybody that comes on the program, give me your thoughts of what you think the record is going to be for the Florida Gators this year.
It's interesting because I just had to do a best case, worst case scenario for USA Today, and I think I had best case 9-4, worst case 5-7, and I predicted 8-5, which I think that's fair given.
So do you have at 8-5? Do you have them going 8-4 and losing their bowl game, or going 7-5 or 7-4 or 7-5 and winning the bowl game?
That's interesting. I would say 8-4 and losing the bowl game. I think that this team, even though, the first scrimmage certainly wasn't anything to write home about, according to Napier, I think that I think they'll have an advantage in September playing in the swamp, the energy. Deal with that. So I think they're going to get off to a good start, but I just wonder about the grind and the injuries and the depth of this team, how it's going to impact them in October and November. And I think that's where you'll see a couple of losses sprinkled in during the season. But I still think that they'll be good enough to be bowl eligible. And I think they'll show progress too, as you do with a first year coach, they'll show progress in certain games.
But I just think that the schedule from a physicality standpoint, and I think you'd agree with me, Shane, will really ratchet up in October when you play LSU and you play Georgia. A couple of teams that just really have big, beefy guys. And that's going to be, I think that's going to be, the proof will be in the pudding there to see what kind of growth, and going on the road in Tennessee and they have momentum. That's not going to be easy either.
All right. We just got a Facebook Live here from Gene for you. He says, seems like Kevin is a Miami alum. What does he think about Mario and how Miami will do this year?
Well, I went to school with Mario. So I've known Mario for a long time. And certainly when you looked at last year, what he did at Oregon and the last couple of years and winning the Pac-12 championship 2 years ago and then going into Ohio State and, beating the Buckeyes in the horseshoe. I mean, that was certainly, a huge win for his career. So they're very aggressive recruiting as we've seen. And with the NIL, they're all in on it, certainly. And are certainly, trying to attract the best talent, but we'll see. I think Mario kind of has that blueprint of what Miami was in the 80s and 90s. And in terms of, that South Florida talent, keeping that South Florida talent home. Yeah, I think that's really key. I think that's really the key for all three of the programs in the state, right? Is like, and we're seeing Billy Napier do it too. But I said this even when I was up in Indiana too, and when Archie Miller's tenure failed. It's not about just getting the Indiana guys. It's not about getting the Florida guys. It's about getting the right Florida guys, and that's about making the evaluations and recruiting and being smart and really knowing your backyard. And that's something Miami did in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s with that run under Butch Davis. And that's something that, I think Mario is going to put a premium on down there. And that's something all the coaches in the state have to put a premium on, because what are we seeing? We're seeing Alabama, Clemson, a lot of other schools come down here and poach the best talent and identify the best talent.
We got a text here from William. He said, he saw where Doring picked, as you mentioned, Kentucky to go 11-1. Did he have Kentucky playing for the SEC championship?
I think he did. Yeah, I think he had them winning the division.
That'll be interesting, won't it? So, Kevin, great stuff as always, buddy. We'll have you on throughout the year, but let everybody know how they can follow you on Twitter, check you out, the Gainesville Sun, and all that stuff.
Yeah, at Kevin Brockway G1. The website is Gator Sports and, Gatorsports.com, GainesvilleSun.com. Really looking forward to this opportunity to be back. And it's been a lot of fun so far, Shane.
No doubt about it. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to join the program, buddy. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you.
That's Kevin Brockway from the Gainesville Sun. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. Let's get to This Day in Sports, which is brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. Beat the summer heat. Schedule your air conditioner's tune-up today, keeping you chill in the Florida heat far away. Comfort Tip Heating and Air. Call us today at 352-376-2366. This Day in Sports in 2001 at the PGA Championship at the Atlanta Athletic Club, David Toms, the LSU Tiger, wins his first major over Phil Mickelson. And that's brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Ruzoga State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Give Ogre Insurance a call at 352-240-1779. I want to thank JC and Kevin Brockway for joining us on the Titan MR hotline. Getting closer, folks. We couldn't come up with a whole lot of 6 teams. Let's see, tomorrow will be 15. And I guess we'll be on 13 on Monday. 13 days to the Gators and the Utes battle. Well, I was thinking about this the other day. What a night or what a day it's going to be on campus. You got all day to tailgate. Billy Napier's first game. I think it's going to be a tremendous environment. Can't wait. So I hope you enjoyed today's program, folks. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Take care.
1st and 10. Matthews, near side, wide open, Alonzo Sullivan. He may go. Touchdown, Gators.